The art and tradition of storytelling continues through Calibishie Chronicle. What we do here is that we present information based on my own lived experiences, my perspective, and also the stories told to me by others who would have experienced life in Calibishie. And because the art or tradition of storytelling is such that you need people who are endowed with particular skills to tell those stories, and because I observed that the Calibishie stories have not been or had not been documented in a way that probably they should, that's why I rise to tell the stories. So expect that the stories that I tell are actual stories based on what I understand them to be. I'm not even going to say truthful stories, because who really knows the truth or not? Because, you know, when we started imagining ourselves and the world, I think those original conceptions came from ideas, myths, understandings, reasonings, and then theories. But I guarantee you that what I say about Calibishie is what I know to be the case about Calibishie, what I experienced living in Calibishie, and what I was told about the experiences of Calibishie. So, Calibishie Chronicle is sacrosanct in that sense. In this episode, we speak about the SAWAG. And, well, of course, the SAWAG was a big fish that some of you might have heard of, but had not experienced. I experienced the SAWAG. But I wanted to also, before I talk about the SAWAG, speak about the beaching, which was a very vicious fish. We used to fish after I learned to swim by spear. And we were warned never, fellas like Jordan and so, who just passed recently, may he rest, and Mafford, may she rest. But Jordan and those guys used to tell us, when you go to fish, when you see a beaching, look the other way. Because if you attack a beaching, the beaching might attack you back. But we didn't listen. We shot at the beaching, you know. Sometimes even spear the beaching. But you had to have had a fish gun with a double rubber. Double rubber meaning you pull it twice. Well, there's two rubbers that sets the gun, and there's two what do you call it again, boy? Two cogs to set on the fish gun. But fellas who were not strong could not pull double rubber, you know. So those people with double rubber would go after the beachings and those heavier fish, while the other younger boys would do chob and kakabili and those things. Anyway, long story short, for you to learn to swim well, everybody from Calibishie had to learn to swim. You could not be from Calibishie and you're not a swimmer. If you were a non-swimmer, the fellas would get you, take you out on a pui-pui as far as possible, throw you in the water, tell you to swim, leave you at the back, and tell you to come. If they really see you, they might try to help you, but they would wait until the last moment. That is how I learned to swim. After drinking about 6 or 7 gushes of water back to back, I decided, boy, I'm going to die. So I decided to batai, and I found myself swimming. And of course, I had to learn it the hard way. It's either your mother teach you to swim, or your father, or your bigger brother or bigger sister, or the boys in the village teach you to swim, whichever. So parents used to kind of teach their children, take them to the sea. I remember it used to be a tradition, you know, parents having their children in the sea, teaching them to float, teaching them to swim below water, and clapping for them when they did it, teaching them to swim, you know, different ways. So that is how I actually learned to swim. And the idea of fish gun spear fishing was, we'll talk about that a little later on, but I wanted to speak about the SAWAG. The SAWAG was a very colorful, big kind of fish. I'm not too sure what is the other name for the SAWAG, but we knew it as a SAWAG. And the SAWAG would come into Calibishie inside by Cayenne House there, right in front there, close to the toilets, to the old toilet. And I need to speak about that too, how the toilets came about there, and how I saw it functional. I remember it being functional and people going there to relieve themselves. Anyway, so the SAWAG would come in ever so often and just circle the bay. And no matter what fishermen do to try to catch or kill that SAWAG, they never got it. People used to wait out, they used to time when that SAWAG might come in again, and we used to see it. But they said it was like a fish many. It's like a fish that was planted there for a particular reason, and there was some kind of a myths about that SAWAG and what it used to come to do, and the guys in the village really just tried to kill the SAWAG, try to hunt the SAWAG, but we never, well, not me, I was too young, too small at the time. I used to see the bigger men trying to go out and get the SAWAG, but they never got it. The SAWAG always escaped. on the folks from Calibishie. And I'm not too sure what brought the Zawag, what it was about, but there were a number of myths about that Zawag. And it was never slaughtered, it was never caught. And the story remains very mystifying. What was that Zawag about? What did it come to do? And why is it that the men wanted to kill the Zawag so much? That is one of the stories I remember from my boyhood days in Calibishie. And I wish somebody could tell me. Did we ever catch the Zawag? Probably Valley could come back and tell me. Valley, I wouldn't tell another story about you. Probably Kero can tell me about the Zawag. But let's find out, and then we'll continue speaking about the traditions of Calibishie in the next episode. We have a major feature coming up on CMOS. Oh boy, you want to be here for that.